Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make the Lee family temple from the movie Turning Red. This is the amount of space required to make your build. Feel free to make this grid in your world if you do feel as though it will help you out. And here are some of the materials that we will need to make our build. Not only will we need every single one of these materials in this chest, but we will also need all of these materials as well, and possibly more. Please do make sure that you have access to all of these. Once you're ready, come all the way over to the front left hand corner of your grid, if you've made it. And from this corner, count backwards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then right by 1. Place a stone brick on the ground and extend it to the right by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then backwards by 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then across and join all the way back to where we first started to give us this shape. Now, this building faces inwards, so this is the front of the building. I want you to grab red concrete, and I want you to place on the front two corners 3 red concrete. So 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. Leave a gap of 1 and then do the same. 1, 2, 3. And then on the opposite side also 1, 2, 3. On the back, I want you to do the same thing as well. So 1, 2, 3. And also 1, 2, 3. Now, between the back pairs of red concrete, I want you to place, let's get this right, light grey terracotta. I also want you to place it on the back of this little part of the building as well. So these are going to make up the walls on the left, right, and back sides of the build. Now, the front is a tad different. So we're going to begin by placing a couple of rows of smooth stone just inside of the bottom of the frame here, just so that we are able to join these two walls together. Then we want to place 2 rows of 2 light grey terracotta extending inwards from the bottom and the tops of the rows of red concrete. Place red concrete rows on the inside of this, extending upwards to leave us a doorway. And then, inside of the empty spaces between the 2 rows of light grey, we want to have flipped up jungle trap doors. So, just like this. So that makes some pretty cool windows. And we have a doorway. And we're not going to fill the inside of the building in yet, or until quite a bit later, but what we also want to have is 2... First of all, we're going to destroy these stone bricks here, and we're going to extend the red concrete down. And we want to do this for the back and the front corners, not necessarily the 2 inward corners. Then we want to have parallel to where we have these inward rows of red concrete, we want to have red concrete rows as well that extend up from the floor, so destroy the stone brick, and they want to be as high as the other rows of red. Now, this is significant because we want to also create a little step to get in this building, which is just going to be smooth stone slabs extending from left to right in front of the little pillar that we've created, or pillars, and we also want to replace these stone bricks using smooth stone also. And now that we have done that, ladies and gentlemen, that is enough of the structure of this particular building done. It's so much so that we can now extend all the way over to the right. But the way that we are going to do this is we want to come to the back right hand corner of the building that we have just made, and in the ground extending right, I want you to dig 1, 2, 3 blocks, replace those with smooth stone, leave a gap, and then place a smooth stone. Right of this, place a smooth stone slab, gap, 3 smooth stone slabs, gap, smooth stone. In the ground, I want to place a smooth stone to the right of the slab, leave a gap, and then 1, 2, 3, and we want to fill that area in with smooth stone. Now, that might seem a little bit confusing, but if we have a look at it from the sky, you can see this is what we want to have, and this will be very useful later, by the way. So now that we have done that, we can continue extending right, and we can place 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stone bricks extending right. Extend forwards by 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then extend across, and join all the way back to where we first started. So, just like this. Now you guys know we have some pillars to add, so on each one of the corners, 1, 2, 3 red concretes, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to destroy the red concretes into the ground as well whilst we're at it, so 1, 2, 3. So they're 4 high in total if we destroy the block first, so 1, 2, 3, 4, just like this. And we also want to have some more red concrete pillars, leaving a gap of 1 from the front pair, just extending backwards along the frame, like so. And then we want to place a couple of rows of smooth stone inside of the framework of our building here. This is actually a gift shop, so inside of the framework of the gift shop. We also want to have another set of red concrete pillars, so we'll actually leave a gap of 3, I do believe, no, a gap of 2, and then red concrete coming in from either side, so gap of 2, red concrete. The red concrete wants to be as high as all of the other red concrete. Then leaving a gap of 1 between these, we want to have another set of red concrete, but we want to destroy this into the ground, and in between, we want to replace this using smooth stone, and in front of that, smooth stone slabs, and we want to extend that left and right as well, just as we did on the opposite side over there. And we also want to use our light grey terracotta. I keep wanting to say glazed. And we want to place window frames on the front. We'll place trapdoors in those in a second. And then we want to fill all of the remaining walls in using the light grey terracotta. I keep saying that slow because I keep almost saying light grey glazed terracotta, but it's not. So now that all of this has been filled in, we can just grab those trapdoors, those handy little, there we go, and we just want to place those here, like this. I just find it easier to place something and then flip them up. I find it just saves time because otherwise I'll just fumble around. And in doing that, we now have 2 of the buildings. So the left is a shrine to the Lee's ancestors, I do believe. Hope that that's correct. And the right is a gift shop, which is not a shrine. So for the next step, we are going to make the largest building inside of the temple, which I do believe is also another shrine, I think you could classify it as. And to mark this out, we're going to come to the left building, and we want to find the inward corner pillar here that is connected to the stone brick, and we want to count right of this going towards the back of the build. We want to leave a gap of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on the 6th block place a red concrete. Leave a gap, red concrete. And what we can now do is extend this red concrete to the right, and we want to place 3 light grey terracotta, 1, 2, 3, red concrete. 3 grey, 1, 2, 3, red concrete. We then want to place bricks. We're going to place 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, red concrete. 3 light grey terracotta, 1, 2, 3, red concrete. 3 light grey, red concrete. Now, extending towards the back, we are going to place 9 light grey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then a red concrete. And then along the back of the build, we are actually going to copy the series of blocks that we have on the front, except for the fact that instead of stone bricks, we are going to just place more light grey terracotta. And on the opposite side of the build as well, we also want to copy that, and we want to just place some more light grey terracotta. So this is kind of the floor plan for the building, and now that this has been done, we are going to raise up the framework. So to do that, we are going to take the front left hand corner of the, I'm going to call this a shrine. We're going to raise it up by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 red concrete. Let's extend this all the way across like this and join it down to the opposite corner. And we want to extend back, and we want to join it down to this corner. And across the back, and you guys are going to guess this, down to the corner. And all the way back to the front again. And we are going to fill in the left, back, and right sides using the light grey terracotta. Except we want to also raise up the red concretes in between the light grey as well. So the reason for this is why there are no windows on the sides and what have you, because all of the walls have stuff on them. So as far as I could tell through my research, and there was a lot of research conducted, I think that we've got it relatively accurate, and we're just going to fill all of this in using the light grey, just like this. And with that done, we can now add some detail to the front part of the shrine. So we'll begin by raising up all of the red concrete, because it's just going to be a little bit easier this way. We can also fill the floor inside here using stone bricks. We also have a lot of filling in of stone bricks to do in a little bit, but I think that we'll actually leave it. Let's get some more details of the... I keep calling this the temple as well, I think. I keep saying shrine and temple. I apologize, whichever one is right, pretend that you're hearing that one. I'm pretty sure it's like a shrine though, right? To the actual red panda, but I might be a little bit wrong about that, but hey, what can you do? So once the floor has been filled in using stone bricks, just like this, that's perfect, then that is the actual floor inside the temple, and it kind of gives you an idea of the level. And we will even be placing stone bricks in front of, so like directly behind the smooth stone slabs and the 2 buildings that we made earlier, the shrine and the gift shop. This entire back level will actually be stone bricks as well. So I'm just going to mark all of this out, and we will fill it in a little bit later on. We have a couple of things that will need filling in mass. And what I mean by that is just in like one big massive go, and we may as well do all of that filling in particular together. So there we go, perfect. We may or may not have made an ever so slight error, and I do apologise for this, but it's not too difficult to fix. On top of the shrine here, the large building, we have to add an additional row of red concrete. And then, once we have added this additional row of red concrete, we simply have to remove the red concrete below it and replace it using light grey terracotta. Now, we don't have to do this for every single instance of this. So on the back, you can see that we have the vertical rows of red concrete that separate all of the window spaces out, and we have the same sort of thing on the front as well. Well, those don't have to be replaced. It just has to be like here in between those 2 vertical rows. So there we go. The temple or the shrine is a little bit bigger now. Whoops, my bad. Really do apologise for that. But let's move on. So now that we have done this, we are able to add detail to the shrine. And to do this, we'll start over on the left here and kind of work our way right. We want to place a rectangular row of light grey terracotta in the centre of this particular like panel of the building. And the 2 empty spaces want to have jungle trapdoors flipped down in front of them. So these are just windows. And we want to do this for most of the front of this. So basically everywhere that isn't the doorway, we want to have that exact same detail. the doorway is going to be a bit different in the fact that there is actually a door there. So, as you might expect with a doorway... Oh, my bad. I'm pretty bad at placing trapdoors, I have to admit, but we want to place all of the light grey terracotta, place something so that we can place the trapdoors, and then flip them up and down. So that's absolutely perfect, that is what we want. Now, for the temple doors, we are going to place behind and to the right of the red concrete here that's left of the door frame, 2 pink terracottas extending right across, and we are going to fill the doorway with them. And then place a couple of birch buttons just in the center like this. And then on the right side here, we also want to have a door, but it wants to be like, we want to make it look as though the door is actually like opened. And we want to place the same birch buttons in the same place, just in the middle, and that is where they would be if you can imagine that the door hinged towards the front. So, of course, if you wanted to, you can flip this door backwards as well, but I kind of like an actual, like, dynamic-looking door. So, once we have done that, we want to raise up the red concretes that you can see that I have marked down in the ground. Now, the significance of these is we want to have parallel rows of red concrete that will act as pillars in front of and 1 block away from the separating frame of the building. So in between the windows like this, right? And we're going to fill in between and behind these in using red concrete. And we just want to have something which should look like this, which is perfect. And this will look a lot better once we actually have the floor and the roof made, which we are not too far away from. Now, something that I do want to add to this is, and that we can add, which is a little cool decoration. Actually, we will wait until the end because there's a few components to it. So, I suppose that the next thing that we are going to do is mark out the walls for the entrance of the temple. So, I want you to come to the front left-hand corner of the build. And this is if you've made the grid, of course. If not, then you may have to do some guessing. But from the front left corner of the build, we want to count backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now that we've found this block, we've kind of gotten rid of all of our materials, but we need quartz bricks for this, maybe even the dark prismarine blocks as well. And we will also need the red concrete and also the smooth stone blocks. Maybe even the chiseled stone bricks, and there's lots of stuff that we need, but it's whether we are going to do it now. And we'll just leave it off like that. We'll also grab the lanterns and possibly the red glazed terracotta as well. So, on this corner block, I want you to place a quartz brick, and extend that brick to the right by 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. On the end of this, place a red concrete, and extend up by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Extend right by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then down to the ground. Just like this. And then simply place quartz bricks extending right along the grid. So just so that we've kind of got an even match of quartz on the left and right sides. I want you to then extend the left and right sides of the red concrete that we've placed, extend it 1 row forwards and also 1 row backwards as well. So we kind of end up with this shape right here. And once we've done that, we are going to place smooth stone slabs in between the base of this, just on the left and right, just to join it and connect it together. And we will extend these slabs an additional row forwards and backwards. And we want to place chiseled stone bricks on the outsides of the extended slabs, just on the front and the back. And then we have to give this a roof. So the roof is made out of just dark prismarine slabs. Let's fill this little gap in here. So just in between the top using dark prismarine slabs. We then want to place a rectangular shape of dark prismarine around the top of this gate. And then we want to place rows of dark prismarine slabs extending upwards and inwards until we eventually reach an apex. Now, I am considering grabbing the dark prismarine stairs and replacing this second row. I think that this might look a little bit better. We'll place this around the center instead of the second row of slabs, and then extend up the center using the slabs, and I think that that will give us a bit more of a pleasing shape, and I do think that I'm correct in saying that. So, we want to place red glazed terracotta in front of the, well, pretty much the top block of the red concretes that we have on the front of the gate. We'll also place it on the back as well, because a little bit of symmetry never hurt anybody. We also want to place these outwards and diagonally from the original blocks, and we want to place lanterns on top of those. And funnily enough that we say the word lantern, this is exactly what these are. These are meant to be lanterns. And I think that that looks pretty good, so on the front and the back. And we also have, we should make this now because we actually need it in a few different places. There's a banner that I like to use. It's an incredibly simple banner, so do feel free to complicate this if you like. Feel free to make something more detailed, but we're going to grab a red banner, throw some yellow dye in the loom, and we're going to use this pattern, which is the red bordure indented. And there we go. That's the banner that we're going to be using periodically throughout this entire build. And I'm going to place it here on the gate. And I'm also going to place it behind the... I guess I can't, unless I remove these slabs here. There we go. And I'm going to place it just behind the gate as well, like as we walk inside. And it kind of creates a nice little bit of ambience, I think. So that is looking pretty good, if I do say so myself. And we never need the loom again after this. With the entrance of the temple mostly complete, we now want to grab all of these materials that you can see in my hotbar and my inventory. Pause the video if you have to, make sure that you have access to all of those, and once you do, we can move on. So the first thing that we're going to do now is we are going to head back inside of the temple. And we are going to lay out some markings inside of the temple. First of all, we're just going to exchange the light blue terracotta with chiseled stone bricks, and we are going to place chiseled stone bricks in between the series of smooth slabs that we placed earlier. We now want to grab magenta terracotta, and we are going to take this gap here in between these smooth stones in the ground. We're going to take this gap, dig in between, and we are going to dig all the way out until we are one row further than the two buildings that we have on the left and right. Then dig across, and we want to dig all the way back to the equivalent point just here on the right side. So, with the magenta terracotta, we will end up with something that should look like this. Now, inside of this area, we want to dig in front these steps. So this is the raised smooth stone and chiseled, and we want to place magenta terracotta in front of this. We then want to dig the ends of this all the way out until we are one row away from the area that we have dug out, and we want to fill all of this in using the magenta terracotta. So we want to have essentially two big rectangles. And we're now going to grab candles and the cauldron, and we want to place, and we'll need a solid block to place this on first. So, right in the very center of the rectangle, which is easy to find, if you simply cross-reference it between the center of these steps and the center of the steps on the building on the left and right, that's where the center of this shape is. Place something solid, and then place 3 red candles on top of it. Destroy, place a cauldron underneath, and there we have the little whatever it is supposed to be in the center of our temple grounds. And now that we've done that, we have a little bit of work to do inside of where the temple walls are on the front. So, these two sides are different, the left and right side of the front of the temple. So we'll focus on the right first of all. We want to place a row of calcite block which will sit inside of the temple walls. Now, the temple walls simply just sit along the grid that we already have, so if you want to place a little bit of quartz bricks along the white concrete of your grid, if you have made it, then that is where the actual wall is, and the calcite wants to sit inside of it, and it just wants to connect to the shrine area here. Now, what we also want to have, however, is we want to have an area to plant a tree. So we're going to grab smooth stone slabs, and we want to place in the center of this building, this is how it lines up. And the building is 9 rows long, so if you have 1, 2, 3 blocks, 1, 2, 3 blocks on either side, these are the 3 center blocks. We want to place, so I guess it's just 1 row away from the corner here. If you just leave a gap of 1, and you want to have a row of a 1, 2, 3, 4. Is this how it works out? I guess it's a row of 5 actually. So there'll be, if you just start from the corner inside the calcite, leave a gap of 1, place a row of 5 smooth stone slabs, extend inwards 1, 2, 3, 4, across, and then join back like this. That's perfect. And then we're actually going to leave a gap of 2, and then we're going to grab mossy stone brick, so leave a gap of 2, and then we're going to have the same sort of arrangement. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then extend forwards and join back. So the same sort of plot size really. And the mossy stone brick area is actually for fish, koi specifically I believe, but I might be wrong about that, but fish regardless. So we're going to fill the bottom of this in with sand, add a bit of water, a little bit of seagrass, and a couple of 2 or 3 tropical fish will fit nicely inside of here. Now, this here is meant for a tree, this smooth stone, and we're actually missing something for it. We need birch sapling, bone meal, and this is how it'll actually be in one of the chests. We need pink wool. So the purpose of this is if we place a birch sapling right in the center of this area, grow it, and then destroy the leaves, replace it using pink wool as you do it, and you will have what looks like a very natural cherry blossom tree. And that's exactly what we're going to have. So instead of having to make your own tree from scratch, this is how I like to make like natural looking alternative Minecraft trees. Now, of course, it's a little bit, you know, it's a little bit time consuming. It can require a little bit of work instead of just kind of like making your own up on the spot, but at least it looks kind of like a naturally generated Minecraft tree. It looks a little bit weird with the pink. I mean, you can kind of like fill it out here and there if you like, but regardless, there we have a tree. And we want to have the same thing all the way on this opposite side. So as a matter of fact, if we do grab some of the stuff again, we'll need calcite, the smooth stone slabs, and we want to have a row of calcite which will once again just sit along the inside of this wall, and it will connect to this building, and if you want a bit of a visual representation, it will just sit inside of this wall. And then we want to leave a gap of 1 from the corner, it turns out, and then we want to just have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and extend back on ourselves. To which we can then place a birch sapling in the center, grow it with bone meal, and there we go. That's actually a bit of a nicer looking tree. To be honest with you, not every single naturally, if we can use those words as we did, you know, unnaturally generate the tree. Not every single like normal looking Minecraft tree is like a good looking tree, but actually this is kind of like more in line for what I would like. But if you're not happy kind of like stealing the design of like a birch tree, then feel free to, you know, make your own. It's not too difficult, but again, there's something about the Minecraft trees that it's just, there's just something about them. What can I say? I just like how they look, and it's very, very easy to just, you know, grow a tree, remove all the leaves. See, I think there's just something about it. They're kind of like charming. I don't know how else to describe it, but they look very, very cool. Now, at this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, we now have our little pond. We've got the trees. We've got the markings worked out on the ground using the magenta terracotta. So, it is now time for us to do the time-consuming part. There is a lot to do here, trust me. So, first thing that we have to do is give all of the buildings roofs. They are all made in pretty much the exact same way, with a little variation. The smaller roofs for the gift shop and the shrine are made using dark prismarine slabs predominantly. We place those on the front and the back. half a row higher than the actual top level of the buildings, and we simply extend them inwards and upwards until they reach an apex, as you can see. We then want to join them together at the bottom, front to back on the left and right sides, extend another row of prismarine slabs outwards so that creates a little bit of contrast. We then want to join the left and right sides of the roof together using a mix of dark prismarine and dark prismarine slabs. We also want to place red concrete in the gaps that are left by us placing the dark prismarine, but we also want to make an interior ceiling for the two buildings using red concrete as well. On the top of the roof section, we also want to place dark prismarine blocks with prismarine wall in between them, and then raise up the prismarine blocks using a slab just to create a little bit of contrast. And the dark prismarine and the wall is set one row inwards in relation to the edge of the roof. Whilst that has been done 2 times for both the left and right side buildings, we want to dig out the courtyard completely. Everywhere that we find grass, except for the tree parts, we want to place smooth stone. It's as simple as that. So dig out the grass, replace it with smooth stone. For the upper part, the other half of the temple compound, we simply just want to fill the floor in with stone bricks. It's as simple as that. It will join to the stone bricks that we have for the floor of the large shrine. Now, once those 2 areas have been filled in, we are going to work on the large shrine itself. We'll just completely fill the top of it in using red concrete to begin with, and that will be the ceiling for the inside the building. We then want to use the exact same strategy for building the roof as we have the other 2 roofs, except for the fact that the dark prismarine wants to be placed at the top of the upper half of red concrete that we have at the top of the building. Other than that, we literally do the exact same thing. The dark prismarine slabs reach an apex from the front to the back. We fill the under part of the roof in using red concrete. We make sure that we connect the dark prismarine slabs together from the front to the back on the sides of the roof, and then extend another row of dark prismarine slabs hanging off to create a bit of contrast. We join the left and right side of the roofs together, the long sides, and we add the little bit of detail using the wall and the dark prismarine at the top. And remember, that particular detail is one row inwards from the 2 long sides, as you can see. We are going to place quartz bricks all the way around our temple. So this extends from the temple entrance from the right side all the way around to the left. This sits on top of the white concrete grid that we already have, and it is 3 rows high. So very, very easy to do. Now, once you've done that, we want to place a few things. 1 layer of dark prismarine stairs going all the way around the top of the wall, as you can see here. We also want to place it on the opposite side, and we want to place dark prismarine slabs on top. But we also have to add a pavement to the front of our temple, so we're just going to dig out the remaining part of the grid that isn't wall, replace it with smooth stone. It's as simple as that. Now you can see the part where we are actually placing the dark prismarine slabs on top of the wall, just going all the way around rather quickly like this, and then the dark prismarine stairs on the inside the temple wall, which I'm not even 100% sure is mandatory, but it makes sense for it to be the same on the inside as it does the outside. It does kind of add a little bit of thickness to the build. And that's it. Well, that was a lot of work, ladies and gentlemen, but hopefully you have got to the point where we have completely ripped up all of the floors, we have done all of the roofs to the 3 buildings, and we have built all of the walls around us. That is essentially all we have done. Now, once you have done that, it is now time for us to start adding some more detail to the build. So, we are going to start by grabbing all of these materials that you can see right now. Please make sure that you have access to all of these. Pause the video if you have to, and we can move on. The first thing that we are going to do, now that we have all of our stuff, is we're kind of going to work our way from the front all the way towards the back. On the right side of the entrance, we are going to place a blue glazed terracotta with a flower pot on top of it. We're also going to throw a couple of flower pots on the ground, and we're going to fill them all with saplings. On the wall here, we need to place a poster. I specifically would like the blue 1x2, where it's kind of like a nice... Perfect. There we go. On the left side, we're going to do something very similar, but we're going to use brown glazed terracotta. So once again, I'm going to stack a bunch of flower pots, and then on this wall, we can go for something a little bit... We don't want to use a bell. We can go for something a little bit different and have a couple of 1x1s like this. So just kind of like decorating the entrance, making it a little bit more inviting. That is absolutely perfect. Okay, so now that we have done outside of the entrance here, we have a bunch of stuff to do. So... without going into the buildings just yet, we are going to place a bunch of flower pots and glazed terracottas almost a little bit randomly around the cow site here. And we want to have just a bunch of, and it'd be good if we had leaves as well, and maybe even ferns, like as many different like leaves and ferns and grass and greenery as you want to fill your inventory up with. Now, I don't want to grab too much stuff because I need loads and loads of stuff to progress this build, but the idea is that we want to build up a bunch of flower pots and flowers and nature around the front walls of the temple. We want to do the same thing on this opposite side here as well. So again, you can almost do it randomly because in the actual movie there is just so much stuff. So again, it would be better if there were more variation, but as long as these are filled with something, like saplings I think are almost perfect for this sort of stuff, and I like the ferns. Anything that kind of looks treey, I really like in a pot, and there we go. I mean, that's perfect, and of course you can kind of like litter the ground with some leaves and some stuff, and it's completely up to you how far you want to take it, but as long as it looks kind of like nice and filled up like this, then that is perfect. So a specific detail on the left side here in front of what we will call the shrine, we want to have a little table. This is made by placing 2 upside down stone brick stairs in front of the little walkway here. We want to grab... We need so many different things, guys. We have scaffolding, we'll need a flower pot, a plant. We also need dark oak trap doors as well. And we need bells, and we need red glazed terracotta. So we need a little table next to our table here. I'm going to grab a flower pot, stick that on the table with a spruce sapling inside of it. Oh, we need item frames as well. That's something else just to place here too. So that is specifically in front of the left side here of this shrine. Now, on the purple or magenta terracotta here near the entrance to the larger area at the back of the build, we want to place a scaffolding with a dark oak trapdoor on top of it. We need lanterns as well so that we can decorate the shrine a little bit better. So we're going to place like lanterns hanging in front of the shrine here where we have the red concretes. You can even, we also want to place some red glazed terracottas as well, as kind of like, not actual lanterns, but, you know, sort of lanterns. Oh, we need to add some red concrete just here, just to fill in that little gap, but we need, like, if you want to chuck a couple of sneaky lanterns, then that's fine, but we want to use red glazed terracotta to kind of look like hanging lanterns in between these pillars, maybe even above these windows as well. On these sides, there are bells, so you can place these bells kind of like here, just like, just hanging off of the dark prismarine slabs where the light grey terracotta is, and we want to do this on both sides as well, so here and here. And we want to do a very, very similar thing to the opposite side here. So we want to fill in just above here using red concrete. And we can add the lanterns in front of and behind these pillars to keep it nice and lit up. And then we want hanging red glazed terracottas just kind of like about the place to look like hanging lanterns. And then we want to have the same bells on the side here as well. I'm not sure why there are bells, but there are indeed bells. And we want to have those placed there, so that's looking pretty good. You can see that adds a nice little bit of detail to these particular stores. Well, there is a little bit more detail as well here on this right hand side. So on the right hand side there is a little table with wares on it, which is going to be made using crimson stairs, crimson signs, and also item frames. But there is a little table made using birch signs and birch planks, and also scaffolding and birch trapdoors. There's a little table here as well, where two people can play a game. I think it's chess, but I might be wrong. But we're going to place a birch plank just about here or so on the terracotta, and we're going to stack scaffolding either side of it. Birch signs on the sides of the plank, like this. And also a black carpet on top. There's some sort of board on top of it. And then we're going to use birch trap doors to make the scaffolding look like chairs. Now, against the gift shop, there is 3 upside down crimson stairs just right of the stairway, with crimson signs in front, and then item frames on top, which can be filled in with anything or nothing. It's basically just something to store some wares on. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty much the entire outside so far. We are going to focus more so on the forefront of the temple before we climb up there and get to work on there. So let's work on the Ancestor Shrine first, and then we'll do the gift shop, and then we'll move towards the back. So, for the gift shop, which is the left building of our temple, we first of all have to add a little flooring in here. So, the outer part of the building is going to be floored using some light grey wool, and we're also just going to join in between the actual entranceway here using the same thing. I'm going to fill the inside of this area in using light blue terracotta, so we have a nice two-tone floor. In the corners of the room, the back left and back right corner, I'm going to stack a couple of blue glazed terracotta with oak leaves on top. Inside of this, vertical rows of red concrete extending from the floor to the ceiling, and then in between these, magenta terracotta at the bottom that extends out in front of the red concrete. We're going to hang some light blue banners at the back here on the bottom, item frames on the wall with player heads placed in front. These are supposed to be pictures, and also, like, I'm not 100% sure what these are, but they look kind of how they do in the film. We're going to place an item frame here extended out on the magenta terracotta, and we need a couple of other things as well. So lantern, cornflower, blue candle, and we'll also need a pot, which I thought I had, but I'm starting to think that I don't. So, on this table, we're going to have a pot here on the left and on the right, a lantern next to the pot, and a couple of blue candles. In one of these pots, a cornflower, and that's it. This is the shrine, and it's actually quite nice in here. I sort of like it. Now that we've done the shrine, we are going to go to the opposite of the shrine, literally and figuratively, and we are going to work on the gift shop. So let's start with the gift shop floor. Begin by placing a rectangle of light grey wool around the inside of the gift shop. And once again, we're just going to dig in between the entrance and replace that using light grey wool again. We're going to then fill the center of the floor in using the magenta terracotta. It might also be an idea to chuck a couple of lanterns on the wall just so that it's a little bit brighter in here. We have to make a desk which is going to be 3 spruce planks just directly not on the end of the magenta terracotta, but one row to the right of it. Behind the desk, we need a spruce fence in the middle with a spruce pressure plate on top. In the corner here, we are going to stack some brown shulker boxes to look like cardboard boxes. And behind the desk, we are going to have a bunch of tripwire hooks on the wall. And those are for like keychains and such. On the wall here, we need a few item frames. So literally just at the top of the wall, starting from the corner, leave a gap of 1. We want item frames with leather caps in them. We then want to grab andesite stairs, a pot, and also red candles. and we're going to place an andesite stair part, some red candles on this table, so that is perfect. And then we have to make something quite elaborate here out of crimson trapdoors, blue glazed terracotta, crafting table, smithing table, flower pot, and then we'll grab the other stuff later. So on this back wall, basically directly to the right of where we have these leather caps, we want to halfway off the ground place a crimson trapdoor, one to the right, blue glazed terracotta to the right of that, crimson trapdoor with one on top, and we can flip both of these up. We then want to extend across the top of this, and then on the left we want to place two crimson trapdoors on the ground to flip up, and we kind of want to, it's just kind of like a display case or cabinet, which we can chuck a flower pot on, and like a smithing table and a crafting table. This area just wants to look nice and filled in with like trinkets and stuff that we can buy, and just, you know, just stuff that's quite nondescript as well, like this. On this back wall, we need a bunch of item frames with leather caps as well. We also need a brown shulker box, a chest, and we also need paintings. So in the corner here, a double chest. Left of this, a brown shulker box. Above the shulker box area is where I want to stack a bunch of paintings. So I want some like 1x1s and like a 2x1. Something like this will do just fine. And on the back wall here, just a bunch of item frames and like leather caps and stuff. There's loads of masks on the wall, and there's just loads of stuff. Like, feel free to variate these if you like as well. Variate, I don't know is a word, but you guys know what I mean. Vary them if you like. So I also have shroom light because it kind of fits the theme and the warmness of this place if you like. If you want to kind of like lighten the mood a little bit, I think that we've not placed that correctly. So we can kind of like light this area up a little bit, and I don't know, shroom light is so like nice and warm. I like the sort of vibe it brings to this. And there we go, this is the gift shop, that's perfect. Which leaves the outside and inside of the shrine area, but this is just such a small. So the Lee family home is, they don't actually live on like the temple grounds, but there is a little door on the back of the temple right about here, and you could even drop this down a row if you wanted to, but then you're going to have to get elaborate, and you're going to have to like place this here, and like make a little walkway. But the Lee family home is actually not on the temple grounds, it's just behind the temple. So we have this little door here on the back right corner of the temple grounds, and if we were so inclined, we could make their house, although you don't really get to see a particularly great view of it. You'd have to make a lot of it up, unfortunately. But this is where it would be if you did want to have a little go of that. And this is where you would place it, just about here. And you might even want to like extend this out a little bit so that we can. There we go. So that we don't have to break the wall. But anyway, that's one of the small things that we have to do, just in the back left corner of the area. And we also have to just minorly decorate the large shrine. So for the large shrine, we're just going to grab red glazed terracotta, red banners, and crimson fence, and that's pretty much all we need. So the banners we are going to place left and right of the windows that we have just on the center, and also on the outer part of the windows on the further out part, so just like a bunch of banners hanging. We have to place some lanterns in the form of red glazed terracotta, so these are just hanging in between the two pairs of red concrete that we have here. And on the outer parts, just in the middle, we're going to have hanging red glazed terracotta, fence, and then red glazed terracotta. So kind of like a similar thing, just more lanterns, but these ones are just a tad bit different. And that's pretty much it for the outside of this part of the temple. And that leads us, of course, to the inside of the temple, which, before anything, I think that we're just going to light up a little bit with actual lanterns, just so that we can see a little bit. And that should just provide us enough light until we can start hanging stuff from the ceiling. I believe these are the materials that we will need to make the inside of our temple. Please make sure that you have access to all of these. Now, the first thing that we are going to do, I should probably put some of these in my hotbar, is we have to extend the red concretes outwards. So on this back wall here, we are going to extend the red concretes towards us, like this. And we also have to extend, at the very least, the outward red concretes, I think. Not so much these ones, although we might end up doing those once it's a bit brighter in here. But this back wall is important. And in between the bottom of this back wall here, we are going to place, I guess that we need spruce planks for this. So we need spruce planks, my bad. So in between this bottom set of red concrete, we want to place a row of spruce planks. And then in front of the 3 center blocks, 3 upside down spruce stairs with spruce trapdoors flipped up on either side. And then we want to place spruce trapdoors in between the 2 pairs of red concrete on the left and right side, and this is at the bottom. We then want to place upside down spruce stairs in between the top pairs of red concrete, just like this. And we could even potentially place spruce stairs kind of like all the way around. We might even place a little bit more red concrete as well, so we might just have to destroy these lanterns that we placed a little bit earlier. I was hoping to enjoy them for a little bit of light, but I guess that we're going to quickly just have to throw some lanterns on the ceiling and stuff. But I think that that looks pretty good. We've now added a little bit of coving, I suppose you might call this, and that also allows us to extend out these rows of red concrete that we couldn't previously because of the lanterns. And I suppose there's nothing stopping us right now in actually just placing lanterns hanging off of the tops of the red concrete. So all's well that ends well, really. And now that we've done that, maybe even here, maybe we could even hang them on the back and we can do something with that. So we could do this. We could place crimson fence extending from the tops of the red concretes here. Lanterns hanging off of the fence, and then we can use our banners to decorate the outside of the fence. And that might be good. I was going to hang this very same decoration in the center of the ceiling, but it kind of got in the way as you were walking around a little bit, so this might be a nice compromise. So we still get to keep the decoration, but it's not, you know, annoying hanging right in front of your face. So let's get the blue glazed terracotta back out again. So we need a couple of pictures. The pictures, or paintings, are going to be in the center of this coving, and we are going to place, I want the Pinocchio picture on the left and right side, which is perfect, and I want the man in black in the center, aka Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. I don't think that that's supposed to be him, but you guys get the idea. We want that guy in the middle, so that's worked out quite perfectly. Then, either side of the guy in the middle, I want to place crimson fence, candles on top, and you can either choose to light those or not, it's up to you. We're going to place pots in front of the candlesticks, and we're just going to leave it like that. So, something that we do have to place, we need a solid block to place these on. We want to have cauldrons in front of the 2 red concrete pillars, with candles on top of the cauldrons, and this is just on the left and right side like this. And I think that they just like to burn incense and such, and this is where you put them out or what have you, or you store them. And we want to have some mossy carpet placed in front of the shrine table area, just kind of like in an arrow shape like so. And we are going to place some, we need spruce stairs, barrels, chests. We just need some pots, but in here it's also quite floral as well, but not too floral. It's also storage. It's kind of a weird room, to be quite honest. Like, on one hand it's like quite nice and peaceful and solemn and kind of like, you know, a nice shrine to to like honor stuff, but then also in the corner of the room is also boxes stacked quite high. Oh, we do also need to, on the left and right side, we do have to implement some red concrete. So, leaving a gap of 2 on the left and right side, we want vertical rows of red concrete, and this will cut into the spruce coving, with spruce fence at the bottom, extend it upwards like this, and it will join to the stair at the top. And we actually want this on both sides, so why don't we just get that done now? Just like this. Then spruce fence at the bottom, extend the middle up. double chest here, and again, there's just kind of stuff placed. And again, it's a little bit floral, so like feel free to add some leaves and such in the corners. Feel free to add chests and storage and stuff like that. It's incredibly like random in here, I would almost say. So that's, you know, just kind of like stack up the corners a little bit. There is some seating as well though, so we'll have 2 sets of chairs, spruce stairs kind of like opposite over each other with a barrel in the center, preferably faced upwards to look like a little table. And we want a similar sort of thing here, so we can even place it in the middle on this side. And that's kind of it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the shrine, and in completing this, there is actually nothing left to make for this tutorial. You finished it. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please do remember to subscribe to the channel and click the little bell next to the subscription button. That will ensure that you get all my videos sent directly to your sub box. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.